In that corner of the studio with us, Solange, you are starting off with Turkey. The countdown has begun for its presidential elections. They're coming up this Sunday.
Yeah, to mark this 1 week countdown, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, well, he held a meeting at Istanbul's Old Airport. It was, according to the paper Türkiye, a historic gathering of bringing in well over 1 million people. It says, the lights are back on. English language Daily Sabah says that it heaps praise on Erdogan, saying that the nation has evolved under his under his presidency, they say, and quote, that it will stand taller come next week. But the odes to Erdogan, at least in this press review, end there. In the foreign press, this election may mark the end of the Sultan's era. Le Figaro writes in an editorial that the West, it says, is crossing its fingers with this election, hoping, as polls suggest, that Erdogan could lose. Now, as La Croix, the Swiss paper, notes, Turkish voters are facing a heavy task in these crucial elections, with voters trying to navigate, it says, the double contradictory heritage in Turkey, that of a secular republic under Ataturk and the religious conservative Erdogan years.
We're going to move a little further east now, Solange, to Syria, which was reinstated to the Arab League yesterday.
Yeah, after 12 years of suspension, Bashar al-Assad's Syria is back in the fold of the Arab League, as Egypt's Daily News tells us. And this means that the Syrian president will be able to participate in the next Arab League summit in Saudi Arabia on May 19th. But does this mean, asks the Associated Press, that Bashar al-Assad is no longer a pariah? The Associated Press asks this question and says that this is indeed a victory for Damascus, but it is also largely, it says, a symbolic one, as sanctions against Assad's regime will stay in place. And according to AP, the Arab League is not expected anytime soon to release reconstruction funds in the war-torn country. Nonetheless, as Arab News argues, this readmission is, quote, an unimaginably bitter pill to swallow, especially for millions of Syrians. Even if 12 years of carnage cannot be forgiven, though, the Arab News says that waiting another decade or two would prolong human sufferings. So it is time, the Saudi-based paper says, to find a new agreement with Syria and to reestablish the Arab world's, quote, geostrategic well-being.
Something lighter now. In the UK, the coronation of King Charles continues to dominate the papers.
Yeah, coronation coverage continues in the British papers, as we see in this mashup from tomorrow's papers today. But I thought I'd bring you a couple other fun cartoons to push that coverage a bit further. This cartoon from the Times. We have reason to believe she'll steal the show, says a police officer in Morton Moreland's cartoon for the Times, touching on the buzz here about MP Penny Mordaunt's role in the ceremony and buzz over that, but also touching on criticism of anti-monarchists being arrested even though they were protesting peacefully, and also touching on the Zadok the priest buzz, the hubbub about this national anthem that was actually the inspiration for the Champions League, had many sports fans at the coronation as it was played there jumping for joy. And now another fun cartoon. This one's from Chapat. We have a spectator watching, saying the 74-year-old Charles looks a bit old, but then adding, when compared to American presidents, he's but a youngin'.
I like that one. Always worth pointing out the prevalence of old men in politics. Next, Solange, a few articles on the media and technology.
Yeah, this first article is about how to create fake narratives. Le Monde tells us that it has, in French and in English, that it has investigated into how Russia is behind a series of fake protests in Europe against Ukraine, NATO, the EU, etc. They happened in major capitals across Europe over the last year. The latest was a month ago. And Le Monde found that the instructions were coming from Russian intelligence agencies, telling participants what to say. It's thought that the fake protesters, some of whom were identified, answered ads to participate and then posted these protest banners online. Now to another online controversy. This is coming from the New York Times. It's about graphic issues of the shooting in Texas this past weekend. The photos were actually able to, we don't show them here, they were actually able to go viral on Twitter as Elon Musk has curtailed Twitter's moderation teams. Now, as the Times explains, outrage over their not being taken down has grown, but so have voices as well, saying the reality of gun violence is such that these images need to be shown for such violence to stop.
Yeah, definitely a tricky debate there. Solange, you've also found a lot of articles about artificial intelligence.
Yeah, Courrier International today is telling us that one of the potential victims of American students cheating using AI to do their homework are actually Kenyan ghostwriters. As the site explains, Kenya is actually a major hub for the contract cheating industry, and AI may have, the paper says, just pulled that out from under the rug from out of their feet. Now, continuing with AI, The Guardian is talking about the writers' strike in Hollywood. It says it could set an important precedent. For the workers are asking for assurances that AI is used as a tool and not as a replacement for human real-life writers. And that fight, The Guardian says, is every man's fight. It argues that it hopes that the issue will, quote, revive the power of the working people that's lost so much to the demands of spreadsheets and stock markets.
Yeah, I know they have AI TV presenters as well, so it's our fight too. Finally, from you, Solange, an article about frogs.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about French people here, but rather their love, or some people's love and some people's hate, of frogs. Le Parisien aujourd'hui en France tells us that 92-year-old Colette loves the frogs in her pond, but she received a visit from the police as her neighbors are not too keen on their croaking. Perhaps they hope that Colette will croak soon, but no luck. Colette's granddaughter came to her rescue, explaining that the frog's mating season, when the calls are the loudest, only lasts a few months, so the frog love is still very much in place chez Colette, at least.
She follows in a long line of tradition of kind of arguments about animal sounds in the rural France. Solange, thank you very much for that look through the papers. That's our press viewer, Solange Mougin.